Hey everybody, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we're going to take a look at a new plugin from Brainworx through Plugin Alliance, the SPL PQ Mastering Equalizer, an emulation of an analog piece of gear from SPL that runs for around $8,000. Of course, this plugin is part of many of their bundles, and I think they have an intro price of $99, so significantly less expensive than the analog gear. But we want to check out what this sounds like, kind of see how the controls work. There's a lot of knobs on the screen here, and explore it a little bit. So let's start by taking a look, first of all, at Plugin Doctor, just to see what the curves are doing here. So I have both sides linked, so the left and right side are basically the same controls. We've got a 5-band EQ, we've got our gain, our frequency, and our Q control. A couple little small wrinkles in this. We can go to a quarter gain setting, which allows us to really dial in some really minute moves in cuts or boosts. There are a lot of different frequencies to choose from, which is very nice. And then we have this proportional Q button down here, which sort of puts it into an API style. Q changes the more you boost and cut EQ, and we'll kind of explore what that does too. So first of all, let me just put this middle band on a random frequency, let's say 870. And I'm going to just boost it up and see what kind of shape we get. So the first thing you see is two different lines here. That's because, like most Brainworx plugins, we have this tolerance modeling technology, which has the left and right channels be a little different. So we're going to put this in straight digital mode and get rid of those two different frequencies. All right, so now that I got my boost going, it's a really broad boost. This is supposed to be centered at 870 hertz, and it looks like it's just about on with where it should be. If I change the Q here, I can get pretty tight with this, very surgical, or extremely broad with this move. And then if I put on that proportional Q button, the more I boost, the more narrow it gets, and the curves are generally more gentle. It's not as aggressive of a proportional Q as what you'd see on like an API piece of gear, but it's nice to have that option to get some different shapes there. If I put that top band in here, tighten up the Q, we can see where that frequency bumps up against Nyquist and gets kind of distorted. And then that quarter gain button is nice to really dial in small moves, especially in mastering situations. Harmonically, there's not really anything going on with this plugin. You have the input signal here in Plugin Doctor, and all this is just like hash noise that's below the audible range. No overtones, no harmonics going on, unless we specifically drive them in on the THD down here. If we engage the THD button and push it up, we can see we get a few harmonics in here, but nothing crazy. This is a really clean EQ. So being that it's a clean EQ, the question is, can we match the curves with a standard digital EQ? So let's leave this one band on and see if we can do that. So I've pulled up FabFilter Pro Q3 here, and we're going to see if we can get something close. Oh my goodness, look at that. On its default setting, I didn't even do anything but adjust the gain and frequency. We are almost exactly matching that curve. We can play with the Q a little bit. Maybe dial in another band right here to even out that top end. I mean, we can pretty much match what we just did with the SPL with a simple boost at 956 hertz on the Fab filter. Let's engage that proportional Q button, because that's going to change it a little bit, and see if we can match it again with the Fab filter. So I'll bring it down, I'll tighten up the Q, and I pretty much matched it again. So nothing special with the curves going on with the SPL. Easily matched with Fab filter. But knowing that, let's hear it in action anyway. So I've got a mix going here that's pretty much finished, and I'm just going to play with some of the settings and see if we can brighten it up a little bit, maybe bring out a little bit of low end and get rid of any harshness that might be in there. So I'll try to level match it and then bypass it on and off with the power button right up here. So while we may be able to match that with a standard digital EQ, I actually like what it does to the sound. It actually opens this mix up a little bit, which is really nice. Let's play with some of the settings down here just to see what they do. Let's drive up this THD.
Back when we were weak in sweet home.
Not a huge difference that I can hear of the mono maker.
Back when we were weak.
Goes up really high, which is nice to have. Stereo width, we can make it mono or super wide. But in mastering, it's nice to have these controls right in here. And of course, we've got some filtering, high and low pass filters as well. So there we have it, the SPL PQ Mastering Equalizer plugin, new from Brainworx through Plugin Alliance. It is a nice sounding EQ for sure. And if you get it for free as part of one of their bundles, totally worth picking up and experimenting with on your mix. However, keep in mind, there's not a lot of harmonics going on here, and you can match the curves pretty easily with any standard digital EQ, so you might be able to get the same job done with the tools you already have. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next, and I'll see you in the next one.